I'd like to get started. Also want to let you know that I speak like a machine gun. So if you don't understand, if you want to, please stop me. I know you paid big bucks for this workshop. So seriously, a little bit about myself. I have a background in linguistics. I have a background in education and ESL, but I also have a background in technology. And so, you know, do you ever watch the TV shows and some geek gets up and he starts talking about all these things and you just kind of do a deer in the headlight?
Yeah, lays over.
I know what he's talking about. That's, okay? So if I may be running through something and I, you know, plain as the nose on my face to me, if it's not to you, stop me.
Okay.
So
expect to see my hand a lot.
Yeah. Okay? This workshop is going to be more basic. We're going to be talking about some things with Firefox. We'll be talking about presentation tips as far as creating a PowerPoint or Impress or a Google presentation system or something like that. And then also a little bit about MP3 and using MP3s. This little monster right here is an MP3. I am recording this session. My hope is then, of course, to put this online to make it available to people. Okay? I recommend that if you don't have one of these little monsters, that you get one. I can record, 3 weeks worth of data here. Save them all as MP3s, put them online, put them in my iDrive folder. Any student who missed class can now listen to what happened. Obviously, they can't.
Equipment. I don't know if you call it an MP3, but as you're talking, I could just use it, record it, and then plug it in and get the information.
Exactly.
That's it?
So
that's an MP3 player. Well, they may be little, they may be larger. This is on often the size. They could be smaller if they didn't have video. This one you could also, watch a movie in this if you wanted to. This has a radio frequency, so you could connect radio. I'll bring this to my Japanese church, and then when somebody is translating interpreting into English, I can get the radio frequency with this. Okay, so this does a little bit more. You don't obviously need that. If you have a simple MP3 recorder, you record your class, and then you can put it into, download it into wherever so that you can have student accessing it. Okay? Anyway, I would highly recommend you do this. It's not hard to do, and it's the advantage of giving access to more students, whether they be physically in your class or whether you do an online course. Okay?
Now this is recording only your voice.
This is recording everything that's going on right now, including your questions. If you know any,
Where's the camera?
Voice only.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's not doing.
Video.
Yeah, I always tell everybody I have a face for radio, so.
Don't we all?
So let's take a quick peek at this. First thing, this is basically the things I want to run through. Firefox Addons. Does everybody use Firefox? Does anybody not use Firefox? One. Do you use?
I think so. Mozilla?
Mozilla, yeah. All right. We'll talk a little bit about Google Tools, Google Docs, Google Calendar. Anybody know and use Google Docs? That many. Okay. We'll talk a little bit about My Way, although I'm less concerned about My Way. I'm more concerned about newspapers and news. Where do you guys get your news? Real quick.
Radio.
Huh?
Radio.
Radio.
Headlines on the internet.
TV.
Yeah.
Where? No, yes.
News magazine. Economist magazine.
News magazines, physical magazines. Okay. I'm here to show you hundreds of new magazines that are accessible to you. I can get most of my news online. Most of it. All right, we'll also be talking about presentation guidelines. Do you guys make PowerPoints for your classes? Okay, we'll go through that, how to do that, if you find that useful and beneficial. I used to have little cards that I would bring to class, just as a little outline so that I knew what was going on. Or I'd write it on the board or something like that. Now, this is my outline, and I can provide extra resources and whatnot for the students as we go along. Whoops. Last thing we'll be talking about how to make podcasts, MP3s. Okay? Please interrupt me. All right? All right. Firefox, unlike Internet Explorer, unlike Safari, unlike Opera, Firefox, because it is open source, because it's the first to really do this, has thousands of add-ons, little things that you can connect to the browser. Okay, and I'll be running through some that I find very useful. A browser is a browser is a browser? Absolutely not. Microsoft is not open source. What does open source mean? Open source means I can give it to anybody and their brother. Okay? I can't take Microsoft Word and give it to anybody and their brother. I can't even take my Internet Explorer and give it to anybody and their brother. With open source, I can. Firefox is open source. In addition, I can look at the guts of the application, rip out pieces that I like, add pieces that I want. Now, we're not computer programmers, so that doesn't interest us at all. But the people who made these add-ons do, and they're very glad that they can add on to their browser. So it's a plus to us. When I first started looking at their add-ons, they had hundreds, and it would take me several hours to look. I can't look through them anymore. There are so many things you can just add on to the browser and make it a better experience. These are just a few that I use. First one here is Auto Pager, and it's simply, you get to the end of your Yahoo search and you click Next. You don't have to do that anymore. You get to the bottom and boop, the second page just appears. Keep scrolling down, keep scrolling down, keep scrolling. It just automatically page scrolls to the next page. A wonderful tool to have. Okay? Cool Iris is a cool way of looking for pictures. Okay? We'll look at these again, so we're just giving you a quick summary here. Weave. I have a computer here, and I have bookmarks here and add-ons here, and when I go home, I have a different computer, and I want my bookmarks to sync. I want to have the same ones. Weave will allow me to do this. It's actually now called Sync. But I can now have 5 different locations, but all my bookmarks are going to be the same. If I add a bookmark here and I go home, I resync, I get those new bookmarks. A wonderful tool to have. Making sense? Are we okay?
I'm going to sound foolish, but I'm going to ask you exactly what is the bookmark? Where's the bookmark?
Bookmark is, but it's basically just an address of the location.
Okay.
Real quick here, talk about my favorite subject. Watch down here as I go. See what it says? Loading. I'm at page 3 now. I'm not clicking.
It's automatic.
I'm at page 4 now. I'm not clicking. It's just automatically loaded. That's Auto Pager. Nice thing to have. You bet. Right? Do you understand? You got it? You okay?
Is it something that you have?
I'm on page 5. I haven't clicked anything, but I'm on page 5. And the reason why is because of Auto Pager. That's the add-on that I mentioned earlier, right? I have it here, and so now I just go forever. And down here, I continue to have loading, next page, loading, next page.
That's a teaching tool so that you do your presentation. So
that's a benefit that you should be aware of. You as a teacher, when you're doing your own work, when you're showing students things, right? That's a great tool to have. That's all. All right, so tab mix. Do you use tabs in your browser? You all know what tabs are, yes? Control, what is this? N? You'll notice here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages listed here. Each of these little things here is called a tab.
Which is different from when you minimize something and it stands by.
That's right. If I minimize this, it's 1. But when I open it, it's 7. All right? Now, if you're using IE, is it 7 or 8? You have tabs. If you're using Firefox, you have tabs. And you can make a new tab. How do you make a new tab? Control T. New tab, right? Control T. Now I can go up here and do a search if I want to and search. Or I can type in a URL and I can type, okay, for a new tab. And it doesn't matter if it's Internet Explorer or it's Mozilla or it's Safari, it's Control T. If you're a Mac, it's Command T, and you'll get a new tab. Okay? However, if you go and make tab after tab after tab after tab, eventually the tabs start going this way out here. And you've got to scroll back and forth to get your tabs. A royal pain in the height. So, to prevent that, we can use tab mix, which allows you to create rows of tabs. I don't know about you, but when whoops.